What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, everybody, we talking Superman. We talking about budgets. We talking about break-even numbers right now. And Cosmic Book News is covering it. Superman by the numbers. Gunn's budget and break-even point have been revealed. It was revealed on the Wrap in this particular article right here. Can Warner's DC Studios rise from the ashes with Superman? And then it quotes down here a budget. There it go. $225 million, and it says here it needs to cross 700 million threshold at the global box office to be considered a success. To me, that's not quite right. Okay, $700 million, maybe that's what they're telling them. Hey, if we hit $700 million at the domestic or worldwide box office, we good. All right, we don't need to make any more. I think in order for Superman to be considered a success, it has to do a couple of things. One, this amount is way too low in my opinion. All right, way too low in my opinion. You got to make a little bit more money than that with Superman. That's number one. And it directly leads into number two, because if Superman is a success, if it's a real success, that means that people have flocked into the theaters. People are rocking with it. People like it. People want to go and see the rest of the DCU slate. They can't wait for the next movie to come out. If you are only making like $700 million, in my opinion, you aren't really buzzing like that. You know, everybody's not really like, yo, I really love this movie. It's amazing. Hey, what else does James Gunn have in the pipeline? I can't wait to check it out. That's a success. All right. Merely making $700 million at the global box office, that don't really do it for me. You know, but this is the thing. Anytime you hear these numbers, you got to take it with a grain of salt. $225 million budget. Yeah, that's what they telling us. But what was the real budget, okay? You guys remember, we've seen these tax documents, Warner Brothers. Yeah, the Ohio motion picture tax application, all right? We've seen this number, all right? $363 million. We've seen this floating around for the last couple of years, so please don't try to gaslight now, all right? This is likely the number that you spent, and maybe you got some tax credits back and all of that. You didn't get $140 million in tax credits. I doubt it, all right? We're probably going to find out that this thing was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $300 million after all was said and done. But again, I want to talk about, what does this movie need to be considered a success? You really have to go back and look at a parallel for this movie. In my opinion, that's the OG Iron Man. This is the benchmark that James Gunn needs to hit. The OG Iron Man back in 2008. All right. Iron Man did two things. One, it was a successful standalone movie that didn't need to be a part of a cinematic universe in order to be successful. It was the first one. You know, it's not like, oh, you have to have all of these other connecting pieces and parts in order for this movie to do well. No, it was good on its own. You know, until we got to the post-credit scene, a lot of us did think, hey, this is just, you know, a standalone superhero movie. It was pretty good. We liked it. All right. So, yeah, James Gunn has to make a movie that can just stand on its own too. Doesn't really need to be a part of a cinematic universe like Iron Man. But then also, number two, build out a cinematic universe and make people excited for what's coming next. And that excitement is going to be found in the worldwide box office numbers. Now, Iron Man in 2008 numbers, $585 million worldwide. All right. Now, if we were actually to break that down and say, hey, how much would that be adjusted for inflation? That would be about $828 million in 2023 dollars, because that's what Google AI is telling me. I'm going to say that's about right. In my opinion, it needs to be somewhere in that $830 to $850 million range. All right. And that means that people have checked it out. People are walking in, talking about it. It's buzzing. It's got good word of mouth. People are coming and checking for it again and again. Multiple repeat viewings. That kind of thing is what Iron Man had. And that's how it hit that 585 back in 2008, which would be adjusted to about probably $830 in 2025 dollars. That's what James Gunn needs to do. But another piece is the audience sentiment. OK. All right. How does the audience feel as they're walking out of the theaters? Did they like it? Did they rock with it? All right. Iron Man back in 2008, 91% on the popcorn meter. All right. You get somewhere in the 90s on the popcorn meter. I don't care about the critics in this case. 91% audience score, solid. That is a great score. That means people walked out of the theaters. 91 out of 100 people left the theaters and said, this is good. I'm rocking with this. This is great. And that's the way you want to launch a cinematic universe. You're not launching a cinematic universe if this thing is in the 80s somewhere. In my opinion, you know, you got to have overwhelming love and praise. Everybody's coming for, yo, what is James Gunn cooking up next? This was a fabulous experience. If you match those two, $850 million in the worldwide box office, along with a very strong audience score, that's success. Anything less than that is questionable. I'm not saying that it's not successful, but it's highly questionable. So those are the standards, in my opinion. If you're trying to launch a cinematic universe, you got to look at what Iron Man did, because Iron Man, let's be honest, Marvel is the only real working cinematic universe that's ever been done. It's only been Marvel. You could say The Conjuring or whatever. The Conjuring really isn't a cinematic universe. It just kind of has sequels and spinoffs, but it doesn't really have a cohesive universe where it all comes together for like an end game or something like that. All right. Now, maybe we're going to get that, but that's besides the point. If you're trying to do what the MCU did, you got to look at where it started. Iron Man set a great foundation for the remainder of the MCU. So when I hear this $700 million threshold is going to make it somehow a hit, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. That tells me that not enough people showed up to watch it, and, maybe word of mouth down the line will keep it going, but $700 million doesn't sound like a successful movie. They're just saying, well, it's got to do better than Man of Steel. That's kind of where this thing is at. Man of Steel made $670 million, but to me, that's not enough. And again, Man of Steel was trying to launch a cinematic universe. And even with $670 million, you have to have that worldwide love and appeal. Like, everybody liked it. Everybody wanted to watch it. That's why I say it's not just the number, all right? The box office number. You also got to hit the popcorn meter, and you got to make that pop. People got to be excited. Man of Steel was a 75%. 75%. And look, I like Man of Steel. But yeah, this is like 15 percentage points lower than what I think it needs to be. More people needed to fall in love with this vision. Again, I don't care what the critics say. More of the audience needed to fall in love with this vision like they did with Iron Man. This is what you are measuring yourself against. Not just the box office. The box office is important, but the audience has to fall in love with this universe. It says, yes, I'm ready. Let's go. Okay, I can't wait to see what's coming next. I can't wait to get into all of the other characters. What's next? Supergirl? Oh, man, Supergirl might be cool. Let's talk about it. And then everybody's theorizing all on message forums and Reddits and everything. People are talking about it. People are buzzing about it. Man of Steel had some buzz, but it never reached the level that Iron Man reached. All right. And yeah, it was a little bit Johnny come lately as well. But nevertheless, you need a buzzing cinematic universe. People are talking about it. People can't wait till the next move comes out. What's James Gunn got cooking up next? Like, that's what you need. And $700 million still don't tell me that it's even close to breaking even. Okay. Because again, we got tax documents, folks. All right. We got actual tax documents. This ain't close to $700 million. So yeah, knock all of this shit off. All right. If you want to, gaslight us, try something else. All right. I think audiences are hip to the game right now when they see these crazy numbers. They're just trying to level set and say, hey, if we hit $700 million, we're going to brag that we had a successful movie, because they think they can hit this number. I think they can hit this number too. All right. I think they'll hit 700 million. But in my opinion, 850 is probably the standard that they need to hit in order to say, yes, we had a successful launch of the DCU, and get ready for what's coming next. But mainly it's that audience score, audience sentiment has to be there. It's not just the box office. Again, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness made $900+ million, and that absolutely destroyed the MCU in Phase 4 because people didn't like it. And so you got to make sure that people are loving and excited and can't wait for the next iteration of the DCU. Otherwise, you can make all the money you want to. You can make all the money you want to. People just came. They were curious. Superman's a big character. You can make all kinds of money off of Superman. But if the audience isn't rocking with it, it's over before it even starts. That's the important thing. All right. Anyway, you guys let me know what y'all think about this. I don't buy these numbers. All right. I don't buy any of this nonsense. All right. They're trying to gaslight. They're trying to tell us what they want to tell us. That's cool. All right. But in my opinion, this is what they're looking at in terms of success. You got to get about 830, 850. I would say a solid 850 is a solid number. All right. You guys get there. Now we can talk. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.